Tiger fans. Okay, so this week there really isn't that much to talk about compared to last week's video where it was 40 minutes long, and I apologize for clearing my throat so many times. I went back and rewatched my video because I like to do that just to see what I could do to make it a little bit shorter and not ramble as much, because if you could believe it, my last couple videos being 30 and 40 minutes long, I like to ramble. So, unlike last week's video where there was a bunch of talking about if I think the season's over and all the injuries and resetting expectations, this week was kind of the start of a new beginning, I guess, for me, of reset expectations, understanding where the season is and understanding where we are as a team and what expectations are going to be and what to watch for, I guess, going forward, because there's just no way that they're making the playoffs, and there's really, I don't think, any way that they're going to even compete for the division, and even going back to 500 is a stretch. How I ended my last video, where I said, okay, they're on a 3-game win streak, they just swept Baltimore, big deal, whoop-de-doo. It applies because they went and they faced Tampa Bay, and I said I'd be really surprised if they won more than 3 games on the entirety of the road trip. And so far, they've only won 2. They go into Tampa Bay, and they take the first game of the series. Harold Castro had a really big home run in the 9th inning, and I believe that was Bo Brisky's first Major League win. And he had a really big a home run in the 9th inning to give the Tigers a lead after the Rays had tied it up. It was 2-2, and they won that game 3-2. Fantastic. The next 2 games, they get wrecked. And the injuries further continue. This is one of the most snake-bitten, injury-riddled Tigers teams I can remember in the entirety of my lifetime. In fact, it's the worst their injuries have ever been since the 1939 Tigers. And they've almost tied their record for all time of most starting pitchers used in a single season. I can remember, I think it was 2014, where they only used 6 pitchers the entire year. That was the year they had Fister, Porcello, or maybe it was 2013. They had Fister, Porcello, Sanchez, Scherzer, Verlander, and they only used 1 pitcher. It was 13 for sure. They only used 1 pitcher besides those main 5 guys for the entirety of the season. They had a lot of health. Every guy made at least 28 starts. It was good stuff, and I think the one guy might have been Drew Smiley. Might have been the only guy that, and that thing, you guys can go back and correct me. It might have been Drew Smiley. Might have been the only other guy they used in that rotation that wasn't there. But he might have been a 14er. Doesn't matter. Neither here nor there. This Tigers team suffers another setback. Erod throws, I think, 30 pitches in the first inning, and he comes out, he says he has some kind of twitch or some kind of pain in his left side. Turns out he has a rib cage sprain, which is terrible because Erod was finally started to pitch good. His last couple outings, he's pitched really good. And deep into games, 6-7 innings the last couple times out. Now he gets hurt, and then the bullpen had to come out, and, thank God the bullpen's been as good as it's been this year, as much as they've been used, like Willie Peralta and everyone else so far back there. It's been bailing the Tigers' asses out. And the Tigers end up getting blown out this game 6-1, and they lose the last game of the series. They get blown out that game as well. Offense is still stagnant. Torkelson hit a home run, and Torkelson had, besides today where he went 0 for 4, Torkelson's at-bats have looked a lot better. He got a home run this game. It was the only run in the second game of the series, but he had 2 extra base hits. He had a screaming piss missile double, and then he hit a home run, which was his first home run in quite a while, and he really needed that. And then the first game in Cleveland, he had the Tigers' lone run with an RBI sac fly, and again, the Tigers are getting hurt in Cleveland. The first game of the series, Tarek Skubal was on the mound, the only original starting member of the original starting 5 of the rotation. And Skubal gets hit with a comebacker right off of the shin. He tries to get up and run it off. I think he thought he was going to be able to stay in if he ran it off and, whatever, hopefully ran the pain through. But he was physically bleeding. Like, his leg was bandaged. He was bleeding. He got in the dugout. He couldn't put any weight on it. Luckily, he came back out a little bit later and actually talked to George Lombard, because there's a flu going around right now in the Tigers clubhouse. AJ Hinch was feeling lightheaded, and even Matt Manning, they thought he came out due to injury. Even like in Toledo, like Akil Baddoo has been sick, and Matt Manning came out of his start, his would have been his final rehab start. There's no timetable if that's going to be his final rehab start because he didn't complete it because he came out real early, I think only after an inning, because he felt lightheaded and had dizziness. But there's like a flu bug going around right now, and Hinch had it. But George Lombard was the acting manager of that game, and he came out and talked to Lombard, and then after the game, he talked to the media. He says he's preparing for his next start like normal. Hinch said that they're going to give him probably an extra days with rest. So thank God it doesn't sound like he's going on the 15-day IL. Thank goodness. They just put Erod on the 15-day IL, so he could miss up to 3 or 4 starts. They don't know the severity of the ribcage sprain. Will Vest was put on the COVID IL, so that sucks. Austin Meadows was in Tampa with the team, and Casey Mize was there, and Ryan Kreidler was there. And the ball, I forget, the ball that Jonathan Schoop hit for a home run in the first game of that series, one of the Tigers Gulf Coast League Tigers actually caught that ball, the home run ball. I thought that was pretty cool. But the majority of the injured Tigers players were in Tampa for that series. So, like, Casey was there, Ryan Kreidler was there, and whatnot. Austin Meadows was there. But they think this Austin Meadows injury, where he has vertigo and he's dizzy and has these spells, is a lot more serious. So he's on the 10-day IL right now. But it's getting scary that I think to the point, and having vertigo, and you don't want this rush this guy back. I think there's a chance after this 10 days, they might give him a couple of days to see where he stands and look at his medical report. I think there's a chance that the Tigers are about to lose Austin Meadows to the 60-day IL because, one, they're already playing short. 2, they've had so many injuries already, and their bench is thin that they're going to have to do something. They can't keep a roster spot there and just keep them on the IL, the 10-day IL retroactive. I think if it's as serious as it is, and AJ Hinch says it's not good, they think it's a lot more serious than they initially thought, that then he might get 60-day IL retroactive. So I could potentially see that. But some good news. Riley Green and Ryan Kreidler both are going to be both in inter-squad games this week. After this week, they're going to be further evaluated to see where they stand, with how many at-bats they have in the inter-squad games. So, great news, because they need Riley Green back really, really bad, especially if Austin Meadows goes onto the 60-day IL. So, Riley Green and Ryan Kreidler both are going to be in inter-squad games this week. As long as everything goes good, I could see both of those guys. I think what they're going to want to do with Riley Green, having swinging a bat since, April? They're probably going to do what kind of like the Orioles did with Adley Rutschman when he came back from his injury and just promoted him. They're probably going to let him start out in Lakeland, get a few ABs, bump him up to AA, get a few ABs, bump him up to Toledo, get a few ABs, because Riley Green himself said he's only running at 75-8%. He's not running at full speed yet. So him going to be playing center field in a park as big as Comerica Park with 2 guys already in the outfield that aren't great outfielders, because Willie Castro's been playing a lot of left field, and we already know how shitty of an outfielder he is in left field. And Robbie Grossman, he hasn't committed an error in 400-some games, but range isn't exactly his strong point. So you need Riley Green out there being able to sprint a little bit. What would be cool is if Derek Hill stays healthy, is they could actually kick Riley Green off to left field or right field because he is a corner outfielder, and they could have Derek Hill as a center fielder. That way, one, it helps Riley Green get to the big leagues faster so he doesn't have to play center field right away when he gets up there. 2, Derek Hill is really more of a true center fielder than Riley Green is. Riley Green's been a corner outfielder pretty much through his whole development as a Tiger. And 3, it'll get him to the big leagues quicker. Like, they need another bat in this lineup right now, especially a lefty bat. And with Meadows not there, just kick him off to the left field. He's probably a better corner outfielder than he is a center outfielder, because Derek Hill does have a lot of range and he is a good defensive outfielder. So who knows? We'll see when he gets there. But at least they're getting someone back, and it's more of a positive than every single day. Will Vest is on the IL, and then Meadows is on the IL. And then, I'm really surprised how quick Ryan Kreidler came back, because he just had surgery 17 days ago, and he actually took Franklin Perez deep in his first at-bat in a live BP. So I guess Franklin Perez, the hype of him ever being anything in the Tiger system is looking real bleak, because I guess his velocity has never come back from when he had Tommy John surgery, and he's just been floating around in the minors. And remember when Franklin Perez he actually got released by the Tigers like 2 years ago, a year ago, and he made it through waivers, and the Tigers re-signed him, and he's just floating around because he had a Tommy John surgery. So, anyways, I just thought that was funny. I was watching some old videos the other day, and Franklin Perez came up as the Tigers' #1 prospect, and they were interviewing him right after the Justin Verlander trade to talk about, like the hype of him and whatnot. So, I'm just happy that he's getting closer to coming back. They need him back. They need some kind of spark. And other than that, I mean, that's really about it. The Tigers continue to lose. They had lost 3 straight games coming into today. Like I said, so all the ground that they made up against the Orioles is now null and void. They're right back to where they started when the Orioles left town. Javier Baez today finally went deep for the first time since late April, so that's pretty sick. Finally seeing him do something other than strike out. The Castros are playing well, so that's good. They've been really good off the bench and, at least giving you some kind of a stick. Defensively, it is what it is, but they need someone that can kind of hit, and Scope is hitting the ball better, and Candelario's hitting the ball better, and Robbie Grossman, after going through that really bad slump, he had a few hits today. So there's I don't know what I'm trying to say. There's some kind of positive within such a negative and such a bleak negative. I mean, there's the Tigers as a team, they're on pace to hit 71 home runs, and they're on pace to score the lowest amount of runs they've ever scored in like the live ball era. Their offense is that bad. So to see any kind of positivity and any kind of good at bats and like to be hyped about a singular home run is pretty pathetic, but to see a team that's been as anemic as they've been and at least show some kind of flashes of power, I mean, this is really all we got, guys. I mean, we're in last place, and I think we have the worst record in the American League right now. Welcome to be a Detroit Tigers fan of 2022. It is what it is. This is all the positivity that we have, and, it's really all I'm watching for. So the Tigers are going to close out their go to Minnesota. Hopefully Matt Manning comes back. Hopefully they can take 2 of 3, but who are we kidding? They're probably going to get swept. I'll be happy with 1 of 3, honestly. Just like I said, they will have finished the road trip with exactly 3 wins. Just like I said, if they go 1 of 3, hopefully they don't get swept. And then they come back home for Memorial Day to face the Guardians, and I'm going to be going to a couple of those games because I am a moron and I like to torture myself and waste money on a team that is not very good because I'm just smart like that. So it's really about it. Riley Green on his way back. Ryan Kreidler on his way back to Toledo. Who knows? He's probably going to get a shot this year because they're so injured, and Scope's probably going to get hurt, and who knows? Tarek Skubal is not going to the IL. He's going to make a start. Hopefully Matt Manning joins the team in Minnesota. I don't know if they're going to want to make him make one more start in Toledo. Austin Meadows, we got to watch out for that. I think he honestly might go to the 60-day IL, and that would be super bad because this is a guy who had 27 home runs last year. I know he hadn't had one yet, but he's an opposing bat. I mean, he was striking out as much as he was walking. He was almost a 1-to-1 guy. He was one of their most consistent hitters getting on base. He was showing some extra base power so far, but that's a big blow. So still nothing new on Casey Mize. They're still having him down in rehab, taking his rehab slow, and that's really about it. So like I said, short video, not much to talk about this week. I will be back maybe next week because of the holiday. If not, it'll be a late video. So that's all I got for you guys this week. Have a safe holiday. Go Tigers.